Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we have an H22 built up Prelude on the dyno, and we are running, this car has a VS Racing GTX 3582 with a built up H22. It has the Mal Gold pistons, like 9-to-1 with the FRM sleeves, built head. I'm assuming you got valve springs in this thing? Okay, it's valve springs and then the Euro R camshafts, stock cam gear. And it has a set of fuel injector Clinic 1250s with the AEM 320 in the tank. So yeah, we're gonna be running this thing on pump 91 or 93, whatever we did just put in. And it's on Honda S300, and it also has a meth injection kit. So wanted to maybe show you guys some of that stuff with the ECU. We did have to work out quite a few bugs with this car initially. We had a coolant leak that we had to fix. We verified the ignition timing already. We changed out the spark plugs. The spark plugs that were in here were NGK part number 6, and we put some 8s in it, part number 4554. And yeah, we also have a vacuum leak coming from the intake manifold gasket, I believe, or the injector bottom O-ring. It's really hard to tell. I'm thinking it's from the intake manifold gasket, because whenever I spray above the injector, I did notice that the idle changed a little, and you can hear it hissing a little bit. And it's kind of common with the thermal intake gaskets, especially when you do not have the surfaces 100% clean. So you always want to make sure, I always take like a wire wheel or whatever and just make sure that the surfaces are like a mirror. Mirror finish is the best, and then a little bit of copper spray is good too. Nelson always uses that stuff on his Ford powered Mustang. So
Team No Sleep, baby.
Yeah, Team No Sleep on Facebook. Go check out the group. Yeah, I don't know what else. This car has a MSD ignition distributor and external coil on it, and it is also set up for a direct port nitrous system. This car has actually been in the works for quite a few years. Ryan here has been putting it together for quite a while, and we're just going to work out some bugs today and hopefully make some sort of power. But I'm definitely going to send him home with a a homework list to kind of check some other things over and fix a couple things and bring it back for some tidying up later. But we just want to make sure that the engine's going to make some good power, and at least get this thing spun up and working, and get him excited and motivated to keep going. So we did already do a pull off camera just on wastegate pressure. I did verify the gate spring, because he had mentioned that the wastegate had like 20-pound spring in it or something. So first thing he did when we pulled it onto the dyno is I took the wastegate off of the car, and I noticed that the vacuum line was actually hooked up to the top of the wastegate and not the bottom. So when we have the vacuum line running to the top and nothing to the bottom, it's going to pretty much keep the wastegate shut completely. So it's just going to run whatever boost the turbo can make, which, you know, might have ended badly. So I made sure that the vacuum line went to the bottom. We don't have anything on the top anymore, and I took the gate off, and I verified that the spring wasn't, you know, super stiff to start off. I always like kind of working my way into these things. I don't like to just swing for 25 pounds initially. I like to work, you know, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Don't want to just jump right up to the high boost, because then the map at lower RPM or lower boost levels might not be perfect. So like I said, I always like to work into them. We did verify our cooling fan is working. I checked the oil and coolant and all that stuff like I always do. And yeah. So next, we are going to verify that the meth injection is working. We have a relay, right? Yep. Somewhere. So, and then where's the tank at? Back here? Okay. So we got a big old nitrous system here. Hopefully we can utilize this, probably not today, but maybe some other time we can actually spray on this thing on top of the turbo and show you kind of how nitrous and turbo work together, because that's always fun. Why not? Two power adders is always better than one. But this is the meth tank, it looks like, and then we have one of these Devil Zone pumps running up. So this is filled with what currently?
50-50 meth.
Okay, so it's 50-50 meth and distilled water right now. And we're gonna run through the pump, and then it squirts it in up by the intercooler pipe there. So We have a line blasting it right before the throttle body, and then he also has another one coming down here with a T. So it comes up, it sprays in 2 locations, one down by the intercooler and then one up by the throttle body. And then do these have jets?
Yep. That's
Okay.
A 7. That's a 3.
Okay, so this is a 7 jet, that's a 3 jet. That's just something that we should mentally note or write down just to make sure when we get into this thing. A lot of times if I tune a meth injection kit or nitrous system, I always just try to make sure that it comes on a certain boost and then I tune the fuel table according to what jets are in it. Sometimes you're gonna wanna run more meth at higher boost than you will at lower boost, but I mean, we'll see how much meth is actually getting sprayed right now. And we'll show you how it's set up in the computer quick. Is that like a recommendation from this kit that they told you to run that jet? Or is that just kind of something you guessed?
That's what it came with.
Okay.
So that's what I put in.
Okay, so it's just kind of like a guess on the jet? Okay. So they said that they have this thing wired into let's see here, the input is the power steering switch, which is pin B8 on the ECU, so we have a trigger there, and then an output to H20. These are the conditions that need to be met for the meth to turn on. So it's going to be above 3,000 RPM, above 5 pounds of boost, and above -20 degrees. I just set this really low just to make sure that it's going to come on no matter what. As long as it's above 5 pounds of boost and above 3,000 RPM, the meth should come on. So and then there's also a table here for fuel compensation, so we can actually, if the meth is richening the mixture up, we can tell it to pull fuel while the meth is on so the mixture stays right. And we can also add ignition in when the meth is on. So I just have a really conservative pump gas timing map in this thing right now. This is actually what the car came in with, and I'm just going to leave it because the timing seems pretty soft and I don't really like pushing stuff on pump gas. But this is an exception because it is a low compression engine, so we can push it a little bit farther. So I mean, right around 7 pounds of boost where this thing's on right now. Above 4 grand we're running like 18 degrees of timing, and then up top we're running 19.25, you know, 20 degrees way up top. So this thing would probably take another degree or 2 as is on this low boost, but with this setting the car just knocked out like 290 or something, was it?
Yeah, 300 I think.
It was almost 300 wheel.
With the sleep.
Okay.
Come on, TV. See, no sleep.
Yeah. Any day now. So we'll get rid of this here. The first pull we did was just to verify that the fueling was okay, low cam side, so no VTEC was on during this run, and I only spun it to like, you know, 5,300 RPM. And then the second run I turned VTEC on, made sure the fueling was okay, and we made 294 horsepower getting out of it at like 7,000 RPM. So, and as you guys can see, the curve was still on an uphill climb, so we may just spin it just a smidge higher. But like I said, we're gonna verify the meth and stuff works first and maybe play with some ignition timing to see where it's gonna be happy. So we'll get the fan plugged back in here. Like I said, I'm gonna leave everything alone. The air fuel prior to this run was like an 1180 air fuel. So now that the meth is on, we'll see if it richens up or how much it richens up, and that will also determine, you know, about how much meth we're actually delivering into the motor. These are the old school fuel injector clinic injectors, so they still have the fat body. They're not the skinny type. Like I said, these are older, like early 2000s fuel injector clinic injectors. They still work good, but they don't like to, you know, idle and cruise at a rich or at a normal air fuel ratio. You usually got to run these things a little richer. I've said that in a couple videos, but so like I said, fuel map, everything's going to stay the same. We're just gonna see if the meth is coming on. just turn our data logger on here. Make sure that we're gonna be running good temperature. Sometimes my hot data does this, it'll freeze until you run it for a second. Low RPM when I'm trying to command like a 14 all-air fuel. Like I said, sometimes you got to run these things a little richer at low duty cycle to get them to be happy. So our temperature is good, 192 degrees. We have 104 intake air temp right now. And once we do a pull, this should drop technically because the meth is injecting into it. And our air fuel should go richer technically when the meth comes on. So we'll do a run here. Super fat. Okay, so it was stuttering there because it was choking on meth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the parameters and I'm actually going to pull out some fuel here. Set the selected values to 15 negative, so it's going to be pulling 15% of fuel when the meth comes on to hopefully level this thing back out. To level the fueling back out is what I meant. So we might have fouled a plug or something. So it's acting like the meth is staying on.
Exactly, I was just gonna say that. That's what it seems like. Pull the relay and do a fucking pull about the meth.
Right. Because I have the window switch commanding only at above 3 grand and when it's above 5 pounds of boost. But as you guys can see there, even at idle, it was starting to choke out. Like it's running really rich. So, and how much did we use a bunch of meth out of the tank?
A decent amount, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we almost emptied the tank there, and just on that little pull, it would have never used that much. So that thing was stuck on almost the whole time.
Absolutely. Snubbed it out. We did not have a, yeah.
So we got some issues with the wiring to the pump. The pump is staying on constantly right now, and it's not actually being switched with the ECU. So I don't know, you know, if we gotta, what we gotta do with that to get it to work right. Because it seems like it's just staying on the whole time. What's this yellow wire here? Anything? So you have a red going to the battery?
Yep, right going to the battery.
And then this, the ECU grounds it.
Yep, the ECU grounds it.
Okay. So this blue wire just runs up.
Yep.
The yellow is just attached to it for something else?
That is, yeah, that's because we originally had the actual Devil's Own the controller.
Yeah.
And they were going to use the ECU to control it instead.
Sure.
So that was just why that was in there.
Okay, so we should technically only need an output signal. We shouldn't need an input.
No, because it's instant on with the ignition.
Right. Since it's instant on with the ignition, we should just be able to go to the output.
Yep.
We may have to change this to invert it to something. Alrighty guys, so we got methed up for a minute, but now we got the meth working. And what was happening before is the invert output on the Honda was checked on, and it was actually causing the pump to stay on constantly, where I unchecked the box and then it was actually working off of my parameters that I showed you guys. So now that we have the meth working, I am currently pulling 5% of fuel when the meth is on, and the air fuel is right on the money. It's right where we were with it off. So I'm actually going to add in just a little bit of fuel on the map for higher boost levels. So above, like, you know, 7 pounds or so, we're actually going to just trickle in another like 5% way up top here if we do turn the boost up. So we should have the additional fuel needed. And our ignition map, like I said, is really conservative right now, but if the meth is on, we can trickle in ignition timing. So for this next pull, I'm just going to give it like 2 degrees of timing. When the meth is activated, just kind of see how it responds. So we just uploaded our change, verified meth is working. We'll do one more pull on this boost just to verify how much more ignition it's going to like or hate. Is it leaking something?
Another cap.
Another coolant? Yeah. We had to fix the coolant leak up here because they had blocked it off, and it cracked and it leaked. And it looks like we might have another one that is starting to leak as well. So that's something that we're going to have to address, or he's going to have to address once we get all this sorted out. So. Put a little timing in it. It didn't really like
2 degrees,
it.
right?
Yeah, it didn't really like it, so. We will probably just leave the timing. It only picked up 1 horsepower.
Right. So you're gonna take it back to a more conservative timing.
Yeah, we'll
since
pull
it
it.
didn't- no
Pull it.
gains?
Yeah, we'll pull the timing back out of it, just to be sure, to keep it safe. And instead, we're just gonna give it some boost. Leave the timing alone. That's one thing that Hondas don't really respond to timing, such as like a bigger V8 does. Like a lot of times when you put 2 degrees in a big V8 car, something that makes good naturally aspirated horsepower, the timing is going to do a lot more to the engine than naturally aspirated 4-cylinder would. So
Yeah.
So we are going to, I'm going to go find a tea, which I have a couple over here. Man, it smells like meth in here.
Yeah, my car definitely didn't like the timing when you added it.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see how it would respond in this kind of weather.
Right.
You know? And then when you get into it like right around this kind of weather, you remember when I first brought it to you?
Yeah.
I don't know. You might say, be trail there. You add some timing, you pick up mile an hour at the track. And you know, they liked it, right?
Yep.
Take some out of it.
Alrighty guys, so I got a T installed into the vacuum line going to the bottom of the wastegate. It's just kind of a trick to fool the wastegate just like a boost controller would. But since we have no boost controller or no extra wastegate springs here, to try to get the boost a little higher to get the higher cells tuned, this is what we're gonna do. So.
We will see what she does.
Like I said, guys, we did think we verified that the meth was working, but I'm still not 100% sure that it's fully activating, and the amount of time it takes for the pump to kick on, fill the line, blow into the intercooler pipe, and then hit the motor. It's just sometimes the meth injection stuff is sometimes not worth the hassle, in my opinion, especially with living in Wisconsin here. We have E85 like everywhere, so let's just see what she does with this T in here, and we'll verify the meth one more time. We actually put a mark on the meth tank to see if the level of the meth is dropping. And like I said, we're not on enough boost right now with this low of compression to really hurt anything, in my opinion, so. Degrees, we'll start the recording here and the dyno. Oh, 14 pounds of boost that time. So it did gain a little bit of boost. It almost seemed like the meth was working because it seemed like it was getting richer up top, but that also could just be that the fuel map is too rich in those cells. So we might just have to pull a little bit of fuel out up here in these ranges. And also coming into boost on the low cam side is also rich. So I'm also going to be pulling fuel out of that. We can probably lower VTEC a little bit too, because currently it has a pretty decent jump, because right when VTEC comes on, the turbo fully spools. So the curve is kind of a little bit of a ski slope right there. Didn't come on? 391. Like I said, it picked up a few pounds of boost with the T. So, let me change the color on this here.
391, that's pretty, yeah,
So this blue one is new.
that hole, did you take the 2 degrees back out of it?
And added boost.
Right, and then you added boost
Yeah.
on top of that.
Yeah.
Taking it back out, putting it back to where it was, but just adding boost.
The curves were looking kind of skewed there because they weren't crossing at the right point. But this was the difference in boost alone. So I mean, it's picking up good amount of power per pound of boost right now, which is good. I mean, you can see the split. I didn't rev it as high that fast, but so 390 to 323, and the difference of 4 pounds of boost is what that was. So it made 14 pounds there, and before that it made 9.5 or something, 10. So that's a good jump. That means the turbo is working good and everything there is working good. But like I said, if we don't have the meth, I'll be able to crank this up a little bit more yet, because it was kind of rich. That's why I got out of it. So we are going to relay this same pull with some fuel pulled out of it up top, because it was a little fat. I don't know if you can tell, it was starting a little rich. looked a lot better. 401. Not bad, man. Not bad. You can see kind of where the cams are starting to fall off. Those adjustable cam gears would carry this a little bit farther if we had them, but... And like I said, I don't really want to push it much farther on pump right now without the Meth working. So we're gonna have to do some homework on that and try to maybe get that working and bring it back. Or you said you might just switch a car to 85. Yeah, so that might be a better option, and obviously we can utilize the ignition that the car is gonna want. You know, it'll take a lot more ignition timing, it'll make more power and be able to run more boost safer. Matt Happel from Sloppy Mechanics always says, like, limit on pump gas on a lot of engines, not even just LS stuff, but even on Hondas is kind of that 14 degrees of timing at 14 pounds of boost kind of thing. You know, obviously if we had ethanol in it, some of these cars will take 20 degrees at that boost, and you know, that's just going to be another 50 horsepower on the same amount of boost. So yeah, we got that coolant leak, like I said, and I think we're going to cut it off here and just kind of send him home with some homework to go over some things. But man, 400 wheel on a pump gas H22, not too bad. I don't think that's that bad. You know, he wants to, his end goal is to make like 600 horsepower, but we got to have the right fuel in it and stuff like that so we don't hurt this thing. You know, because nobody wants to hurt their pride and joy and hurt the motor. You know, we'd rather do this the right way, and you know, sometimes we just gotta do that. So yeah. Alrighty guys, we just finished up with Ryan's car. We did verify that the Meth kit, something with the relay wiring or something along those lines is just not set up right now, or just not working properly. Whether the relay was bad, I'm not sure. We already had a little bit of time into the car prior to the Meth kit not working, and we ended up just trying to make as much power as we could safely on pump gas for now. And he's either going to go back and get the Meth kit fixed, or he is going to change a car to E85 and come back another day. So we're gonna try to shoot for some really big power with this car, so you guys should definitely stay tuned. I'm sure this car will be back in the future, and like I said, it's got the nitrous kit, and it has it's got a direct port nitrous kit on it. So if we can make 500 or 600 on boost and then hit the juice, who knows where this thing will go. I know the H series will take a bunch of power, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So like I said, we did get a lot of the stuff worked out, but we ended up coming into another coolant leak. And like I said, the Meth kit not working properly, the intake was leaking a little bit. But like I said, we wanted to just kind of iron a couple things out for him. And we did end up doing that and ended up making 400 wheel horsepower. And here's the progression throughout the day. Final numbers 401, 322 foot-pounds. Good graph. I had to have VTEC actually pretty low on this car for it to be smooth. Right around 4,000 I think I had VTEC at. So yeah, other than that guys, car's doing awesome. And really excited for Ryan, and hopefully the H crew on Facebook, I think it's the group on Facebook, that's where all these guys are coming from. Yeah, cool dudes. They've helped me out at the track a couple times. The one guy actually brought me an axle or something at one point a couple years ago at the track when I broke one of my Hondas. So all part of a community, and all part of just having fun and making jam. That's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, sometimes when issues arise, you know, dyno tuning is one price, and you know, I always offer to the customer, we can leave it here, I can sort the rest of the issues out, or you can do it yourself. And the customer just kind of wanted to tackle it himself and finish the stuff up and bring it back. So obviously he's been building that car for a while, so obviously every little thing that he does to the car probably just makes him learn. It makes us all, you know, better tuners and mechanics and everything at the end of the day. So stay tuned guys. We actually just got Barney fixed up, and it had a broken fourth gear in the transmission that I ended up getting buttoned up last night. So Barney should be ready to hit the dyno and the track this week, I'm really hoping. I know I've been saying that, but I did take the car out one time with the new setup and broke 4th gear. So it's definitely making some more power. I'd love to throw it back on the dyno, possibly today yet, and hopefully go really fast with the Barney Civic. So stay tuned, guys. We'll have some more videos coming on this one soon. Have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later.